So, deliberate practice. This is probably the most important part of this whole talent equation. It allows us to do a number of things. We get to see meaningful chunks. We get to see meaningful chunks. Here's how it works. They took an average Joe off the streets, and they took a master chess player, and they showed them 2 chessboards. Then they walked them away from the chessboards, and they asked them to remember as many pieces as they could, and where the pieces were. The average Joe from the street generally manages to remember about 8 pieces, and that's all. That's your average human being. The master chess player knew where every single piece was. So, the conclusion then, does the master chess player have a bigger memory? The answer is no, because here's what they did next. They took the chess pieces and they moved them into ways that don't make sense. Think of this in soccer terms. It's like taking the goalie and putting him in midfield, taking the striker and putting him out on the left wing. And what they did was they rearranged this whole chessboard in a way that a chess game can never go. Then they put the average Joe in front of it, and they put the Grand Master in front of it. And both could remember 8 pieces. So what's the difference? What's actually happening there if it's not memory? The answer is, the master chess player sees a language. He's able to read a situation. He's not looking at a chessboard and remembering where each individual piece is. He can see a scenario that makes sense to him. He sees meaningful chunks. Deliberate practice also allows us to read systems. Now this one's important in the business world. But let's start with how it works in sport. The ball that this guy is about to smack over the net is going to arrive on your side in 1.3 seconds. Are your reflexes good enough to swing and hit it? What do you think? If I had a tennis ball that far away, threw it at you, and it was going to leave the racket and hit you in 1.5 seconds, could you react in time? Okay. Chances are no. Interesting thing is, neither can a professional tennis player. Here's what's actually happening. The professional tennis player is not watching the ball come off the racket and seeing where it goes. The professional tennis player is watching this guy. And because he knows what's going on here, he can tell where that ball is going to go. Aha! That's very different. How does it help us in the business world? Imagine 2 ladies walking into a sales pitch at a customer's business. The one runs the company and knows exactly what she's doing. She's our master practitioner. The young apprentice is very new to the game and has maybe read a couple of books on sales, but all of this is pretty new to her. To the new lady, she walks in the door, sees a building, sits down, does a sales pitch, and goes home. And that's all she sees in that situation. But for the older lady, she arrives at the building, and the way the building looks tells her something about the company. The way she's greeted at the front door gives her cues about how this meeting is going to go. She walks into the meeting room and sees how the chairs are laid out, how she's welcomed, and where she's told to sit. And that tells her something about the power relationships in this company. She sits down and listens to the subtle things that her customer says, and her sales pitch goes off in a completely different direction to what she planned, because she saw something different there that the younger person simply didn't see. Deliberate practice allows us to read more out of a scenario.